Let's circle back to the core ACT product now. I want to talk a little bit about eMarketing. eMarketing has really been overhauled in ACT version 17. The traditional Swift page eMarketing that many of you are accustomed to using is still there. You can still use that. It's easily enabled within the new version 17 software. But the new ACT eMarketing platform is really the future of eMarketing in ACT. And they're working hard to build in any missing features, any gaps basically between ACT eMarketing and what is the new platform and what may have been in the old Swift page eMarketing. It's not a complete replacement yet. I want you to know that. So you're not going to necessarily move right away from Swift page eMarketing to ACT eMarketing, depending on what features you might be using in Swift page. But the long-term future is the ACT eMarketing, and eventually they will eliminate all those gaps. For anybody new to eMarketing, ACT eMarketing is probably the way to go. There's a lot of really cool functionality here. It's really heavily integrated into the ACT product now. So I mentioned earlier that every user of ACT v17 gets a free basic account. What that means is you can send an unlimited number of emails to up to 500 contacts per month per user. So for every one of your users on ACT v17, you can send an unlimited number of emails to 500 unique contacts every single month, all completely for free. There's also new team-level accounts. With the team-level accounts, you can share templates amongst your users. You can also send on behalf of other users. So if I go in here and take a look at my sender profiles, in our particular account, we've got myself and Greg in here. So I can send an email message as Greg. Greg can send an email message as me. We can collaborate. We can share templates. And you can do that all through the team account. When I actually go to send an email campaign, I mentioned that ability to send as. I can select from here who I want to send this email on behalf of. And that's who it's going to go out as. We'll come back into sending emails in just a little bit here. Let me show you a quick overview of the templates. So customizing an email. So from the ACT eMarketing view, I click Customize an Email. It's going to take me into the web portal for ACT eMarketing where I can manage all my templates. You get hundreds of stock templates included automatically with ACT eMarketing. There's no cost for these. And so you've got a variety of different templates across a variety of different categories here. If you scroll down, you'll see there's even more. Some of these templates are even mobile optimized, so it's a template that'll look great if you're looking at it through Microsoft Outlook or Gmail or something like that, but it's also going to basically self-adjust if it's being viewed on a tablet or on a smartphone. And all of those have this little icon here. Let me jump into one of my templates here that we can edit. And let's just pull up this newsletter template. So here's your graphical editor for the newsletter template. You just simply click on an area and then edit, and you can very easily change the text of that. You don't have to be some sort of webmaster or HTML guru here. You can create really great email templates without knowing anything about HTML or websites or anything like that. Go in here, alter the logo, browse to another image, put that in. And when you're all said and done, you can save this, and you can also preview it as well. So previewing will show you what it'll actually look like within an email client. Or click View Email in Browser. Oh, links are disabled in there. Hang on. Oh, that crashed on me. Sorry about that. Let's get back to it. There we go. So back in here, View Email in Browser, and we can then view those things in the browser. I think there's a little glitch going on in there right now, but we should be able to click on that and see what it would look like in a browser as well. Let's take a look at what it would take to send an email blast. I think you're going to find that that's going to be equally as easy as editing the templates here. So if I'm in my ACT database, I want to create a lookup of contacts, or maybe I already have a built-in group, and that's who I want to send to. Let's actually do that. I already have a group that I can send to, so I don't even need to go create a lookup. I've already got a group that I've built here. Let me go to eMarketing. I'm going to send an email campaign. You can also simply click the button right there within the eMarketing view. I'm going to choose a particular group, choose my key contacts. I'm going to, send this one from Greg rather than myself. Let's do this as the October newsletter. I'm going to do part 2 because I've already sent an October newsletter, as you can see down here in my call list, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then choose my template that I want to use. So there's my newsletter, October 2014. Let's back over there. There we go. And you can send it now, or you can choose when you want to send it. So I could schedule this to go out later today, tomorrow, or a future date. Of course, we want to indicate that we've read and agreed to the anti-spam policy. Nobody wants to be sending out spam or be labeled as a spammer, so SwiftPage has that in place here on all the ACT eMarketing products. And when we hit OK, it's going to go ahead and send that email campaign. Within a few minutes, all of the contacts in my group will have received that email. When you send the email, there's a couple of things that happen. You're going to get a confirmation back. Let me actually pull something else up here. Hang on just a second. I'll show you what the confirmation looks like. Okay, here's the confirmation email here. Pull that over. So you'll get an email from ACT eMarketing indicating that your email blast was sent. So if you scheduled it for the future, this would kind of serve as a reminder that, yep, that email just went out for you. It'll put the subject, tell you what template was used, when it was sent, and the number of contacts. And it tells you can track the ongoing success of this by using some of the ACT eMarketing reports. Let me show you what the actual message would look like, or one of the messages would look like that I sent out earlier this morning to some of our contacts. So here's a sample message notice for our key contacts. This is what it looks like within, say, Outlook. You can click View Email in Browser. That'll also show you the email in a browser window. What's kind of really neat about the browser is then you can like it on Facebook, you can tweet it, you can share it in Google+, share it in LinkedIn, all those different things too. And these are just built right into this. There's nothing special you need to do with your email templates to enable this functionality for your recipients. So that's going to help spread your message. That same functionality also exists at the bottom of this through the share link right here. Let's take a look at what happens after we send the blast. So our recipients have received our email. We now have these things called call lists that are built directly into ACT. Let me refresh my call list here. Okay, so if I go and I click on one of these call lists, it's accessing my account. Over here on the right, you can see who's opened this email, how many times they've opened it, how many times I sent it to them, what they've clicked on, things like that. So with these contacts, they all get a score then for a call list. The higher the score, the more interested they are in your email. That's the person you should be following up with a phone call, or maybe sending an additional email to, because they're really interested in what you had to say. If I double click on them, it takes me directly to their ACT contact. Now I'm posed to make that phone call. Go back to the marketplace here. I'm sorry, not the marketplace, the eMarketing here. I'm going to click back on that call list. You'll also see these little flames here. That tells you it's sort of a hot lead. The more flames, the warmer the lead, the more you want to actually get in front of that person and start talking to them. Okay. Under the Manage My Account, there's reports. You can also click Campaign Reports over here to get to those. Either way will take you into the online account manager for ACT eMarketing and will allow you to pull reports. So I can see different emails that I sent here. This one's queued up, hasn't gone out quite yet. Should happen any minute now. Looking at these ones here, I can see, okay, both of these had a 37% open rate. Let me click on this one and see what I've got. Let's look at some more details here. Here, I submitted 8 emails. It was successfully able to send 8. There were 4 total opens, 3 unique clicks, 2 total clicks, and then 1 unique opens, total clicks, unique clicks. And then you can take this report and you can export this. So I go here, say export report to. I type in the email address of whoever needs to receive this, export it, and then I'm sending that report to that particular person. So you can share that with maybe your marketing person who may or may not be an ACT user, the owner of the company, something like that. They want to see how the eMarketing is going. You can easily share these reports with those people. The other great thing about the eMarketing is that you can build these emails into smart tasks or use call list scores in your smart tasks. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to go into Schedule. I'm going to go into Manage Smart Tasks. These have been around for a couple of versions now, but there's some significant new functionality here that I want to show you. I'm going to create a brand new smart task here. So let's call this Services Inquiry Send Follow-Up Email. Okay. So we're going to base this off of contact records. What's going to trigger this are when certain conditions are met. The conditions are essentially an advanced query within the database. So I'm going to put a particular field in here, maybe referred by, equal to, I'm going to choose services inquiry. Maybe I have a form on my website that allows users to fill out a service inquiry, then it brings them in my database, and I then mark the referred by as a services inquiry. In fact, the new ACT web capture lead forms would be a great way to do that. We'll show you that in just a little bit. So I'm going to add that services inquiry here. I'm going to say OK. I'm only going to run this for a single record once because the contact's always going to meet those conditions. I'm not going to go back and change that referred by value to something different later on necessarily. So I want to make sure this only runs for a particular contact once. Okay, the next step here would be to maybe set the access to this. We bring in a new contact. We want to make sure the appropriate people in our CRM system have access to that contact. So I go into the teams here. I want to make sure that the customer service has access to anybody who's referred by was service inquiry. So that's one of the brand new features within Smart Tasks, is the ability to limit access or set access to contacts based on them meeting certain conditions or criteria in the system. So we change record access to customer service, and then let's send an email campaign or send a follow-up email. I'm going to sign into our ACT eMarketing account here. Okay, and we're going to call this Send Service Inquiry Follow-Up. This is an ACT eMarketing step. It'll come from me, although I could send it from somebody else, or I could manage those users right here. We'll put in a subject of the email, Service Inquiry Follow-Up. And there's our template right there, the service inquiry thank you. Yes, we've read and agreed to the spam policy. Say OK. And then, so a new contact comes in. They're referred by a services inquiry. It automatically sets the record access to customer service and sends them a follow-up email thanking them for their inquiry, letting them know that we'll be in touch. Pretty handy tool right there. I'm going to create another new smart task here. This smart task will be more pertaining to a particular email campaign. So I sent out a notice, an important notice to some of our key contacts already this morning. If somebody seems really interested in it, I can always go to the call list and I can pull them up based on the call list scores and things like that, and then try to follow up with them individually and one-on-one to really further gauge their interest. But I could also automate some tasks relating to that as well. I could have it send them another follow-up email. But I could also have it schedule a follow-up activity for one of my users so that we don't let those things slip through the cracks. So if I go into Smart Task name here, let's do important notice follow-up. It's going to be based on contacts as well. when we go into the trigger here, we're going to run it when certain eMarketing conditions are met. Again, I've got to sign into my eMarketing account here. Okay. I want to run this daily, every day. I'm going to run it at 8 a.m. Should be good there. Yep. And then the call list name is the important update. And I want it to flag anybody who's got a score greater than, let's say, 100. I've determined that 100 is the threshold where I want my people to be following up with those individuals. So I say OK. Then I add a step, schedule activity, and then we want to schedule a call. We'll just make it timeless. We don't have to actually schedule it for a particular time with that contact regarding follow-up on important notice. Maybe we'll have a ringing alarm so the user doesn't forget about it. Make it a medium priority. And then we can schedule it for the person who's creating the smart task or whose the smart task is running under, or we can schedule it for a particular user within our system. So I'm going to say, you know what, Allison's going to handle these phone calls. So say OK. And now we've got this smart task created as well, so that these follow-up calls are automatically scheduled based on those people who are interested in our particular email blast that just went out. The one thing that else that I want to cover related to v17 is the web lead capture. So let me jump over to groups here. Web lead capture all comes in from groups. So actually, I've created a services inquiry group right here. You can actually see there's a couple of contacts that have been brought in here too already. Basically, when you go into the lead capture right here, here are your web forms. So here's a form that I've already created, services inquiry. It allows them to put in their first name, last name, email, phone number, company, then they click please contact me. Well, let's create another new group with another web form. So I'm going to do new again. And for this one, let's do newsletter sign up. I'm going to create a web form for this. And the title actually defaults to newsletter sign up. So I'm going to change the title slightly though. Sign me up. The text will be something like, yes, I'd like to receive your newsletter. This one, we're just going to do the email address because this is more of a basic form. If we did the extended form, we'd have company, first name, last name, all of that. And then button, let's make it please. So then they click that, and then they're signed up. What's cool is when you hit OK here, it's then going to give you the URL. You can just simply send this URL to people if you want to, or using the HTML code, you can embed this on your website. So amongst all your other forms that you might already have on your website, you can embed this specific form. Let me take our URL right here. We're not going to get into how to embed this form on a demo like this, but let me bring up a sign-up form here. Let me go to this particular URL that we just created. So here's that web form that I just created. It's live immediately. There's no waiting here. So let me get back over that, sorry. And let me put in an email address here. So let's do I'm trying to think of an email that I have that I haven't used already. Click that. All right, so now it's sent that email out. Now all I've got to do then is, as the recipient of that, I go to my inbox, I click, yep, I did indeed sign up, and then the person who created that web form in their ACT database can go into this group, click Get Leads, and it will automatically download those new contacts into here. It's not downloading that one because I haven't clicked the link to confirm it yet. But if we go back to the other group for the services inquiry, you can see where it did already download a couple as a result of me clicking on the verification link and then going into here and getting the leads. It's a pretty handy new tool, and as I mentioned, that can also be used in conjunction with the smart tasks, because when you do this, it puts the form name into the referred by field, and then you can use that to trigger a smart task to happen. So hopefully everybody's excited about as excited about these new features as we are, and there are a lot of time savers and productivity boosters here. I'd also like to spend just a few minutes showcasing